The valves are in.
It's a good heavy duty drop-in style basin.
Let's make sure it fits. Yeah, that looks good.
Hi everyone, welcome to Jensen DIY. So if you watched my first video, tips on rough plumbing a sink, then this one will come in handy if you're looking to install a basin in your bathroom, okay? I actually removed this from a house built in the 80s and they just wanted to get rid of it. So I cleaned it up and I'm gonna dress this sink up, show you how to do it. It's really easy. Where's the best place to dress a basin? The best place to dress a basin is while you're sitting on the can. That's what I'm doing right now, okay? If you're doing a renovation and you're finishing the bathroom, then, I mean, plumbers will know this. The easiest way to do it is to install the toilet first. Then you have a place to sit. You always want to dress the basin before you install it. And you'll see why. It makes it a lot easier. Now you're not clambering around inside the vanity trying to get the faucet on. This way, it's all done. All you have to do afterwards is hook up the water lines to the valves and hook the drain up. It saves a lot of time. Now, if you have a solid surface countertop, then maybe you have an undermount basin. Then you're gonna have to mount your faucet right to the countertop and you're gonna have to mount your drain to the sink while it's in place. But I'd say the majority of applications, it's a drop-in basin like this. I've cleaned it up pretty well. It's not perfect in here, but it's clean enough, okay? So 3 holes, some of them only have 1 hole. If you have a single lever faucet that doesn't have the plate, this faucet is a 2-handle faucet. Okay, so you got your gasket here, that would sit like that. You put that right on the faucet. And then you want to place your faucet in. Okay, so we want to flip that now. So you just want to get those done up. Now you can imagine how much harder this would be if you're trying to do this underneath. Snug those up, not too tight though, okay? And then we want to flip this back. That looks nice and square now. So now we just reach underneath and snug those up nice and tight. You don't need the pliers. These are meant to be done up hand tight. That's why there's little tabs on there. And you just get those as tight as you can get them. Okay, so that's the faucet in. Now I do have water supply lines that I'm going to put on here after I do the drain. You don't want them in the way while you're doing the drain, okay? Now I like to lay my drain parts out. This is called a PO, a pop-up, okay? Patent overflow. And the reason for that is because it's got the holes in it here. This fills up too much. You put the plug in, you walk away, you forget it's filling. It's gonna go into here, come down here, through the drain. That's gonna be up in there and that water's gonna go in there, below the plug and down the drain so you don't get a flood. Okay. Now I'm gonna turn this way so you can see better. Okay, this comes with a cover. What I like to do is take all the plastic off, everything off, get it ready. Okay, this even has a little sticker on it and get rid of that. Okay, get it all ready, okay? So you have your parts all laid out. Okay, so you wanna start with this one here. This comes apart. Okay? So this is a very fine thread on this piece. This is the part where your drain attaches. Take some Teflon tape. I like to just go around a couple times on this. Okay, and then we just take that, thread that in. Hand tight. Okay, so that part's done. This nut, and go all the way down to the bottom. Okay, and our rubber gasket, all the way down. Okay, so we're right down at the end. And the reason for that is because this now has to stick up through here. You want as much coming up through here as you can, okay? Before you put that in, we want to take some plumber's putty, like about that much, and just roll it up. Roll it into a snake like that. And there's your piece that goes in here. Okay, so we just want to put that around there. Just like that. Okay, so that's ready to go now. Now we take our PO drain and we're gonna put that up with this facing back towards the back of the sink. Okay, so we just put it up in there. That rubber sits right up in against the bottom here. Now we've got our piece sticking up here. I'm holding that underneath. You take this, put it over, get that started on that thread. Just tighten that up until it stops, okay? Just snug it with your hand, that's it. That's done. Okay, now you can let go underneath and you want to push down on this. Okay, you see the putty is squeezed out all around there. You just leave that the way it is. Now you want to flip this over. Just like that, and you can see we have a gap here, okay? So now we want to twist on that washer and go down until it is nice and snug right there, like that, against. Now just do that up. Okay, now is when we look at this part here. This is the mechanical pop-up part. Make sure that's nice and straight. Snug that right up. You can use channel lock pliers. I like to use this finishing wrench here. Whatever you have to do to get this tightened up. Okay, so you get that on there. Just like that. Now hold on to this and snug that up. Again, make sure this is straight. You see this got a little out of alignment, so I want to turn that. I'm going to have to loosen that a little. There we go. Now we're going to tighten it again. Okay, there we go. Okay, so next you want to take your plug, and you can see there's this groove here. This part here, I face it towards the back, okay, towards the wall. You can make it work both ways, but this way makes more sense to me to have that facing backwards. Okay, so you just want to take that and place it straight down in. Now we want to undo right here. There is a little plastic washer in there that stays in there. You take this piece here, that goes in there until it goes through. So we're just going to leave that like that. And then we just take our nut, that goes back over. Hold that in place and do that up. If you feel like you need to use a pair of pliers to tighten that, you can, but hand tight is usually good enough because you have that washer in there. Now we take the pull-up lever here and we put that down through. Okay. Then we take this part here, loosen off this. This part here now slides through. Just like that, okay? With this all the way down, you can just snug this up so it's grabbing so it doesn't slip out. Okay, so now I can move that, but it's not gonna fall off of there. And then you have this little retainer clip here. Put it through one of the holes, just let that fall on there, okay? And then you wanna take one of these holes. This is adjustable. I usually pick the second or third one from the bottom. And now you grab that clip and you go all the way up. Bend it till that part there goes through. Like that. And then push that down. So this is your retainer for this. Okay. And then you just want to look at it and make sure that this looks fairly straight. Not out on an angle or in on an angle like that. Or way too far out. You want it kind of so that it looks straight with the back of the sink up and down, okay? And then we want to tighten that bolt up. Pretty snug. There we go, that's good enough. Now if we pull on that, that closes nicely. Open, closed, open, closed. And another thing you want to watch is when you open it, that this isn't bottoming out on your faucet, because if it hits your faucet here, eventually it's going to mar the faucet in the back. It's not a big deal, but it's better to have this up a little bit. You can see I have a little bit of a gap here, okay? You can even have it up here if you want, but I prefer to have it so it's down kind of hidden behind the faucet, okay? Like I said, you can adjust it with these holes so that this, if this is too long or too short, you can adjust it using these holes because this, you know, this part here can come up further or down further. But I'm happy with the way this is. So the last thing I'm going to do before this gets installed is I'm going to put on my water supply tubes, because it's a lot easier to do these up out here than it is under there. Then you just got to do this end here onto the valve underneath when the sink gets installed. For this part, I just flip the sink upside down like this and then simply thread these on. There's one. The crescent wrench. just snug. You don't have to go too tight on those. And you don't need any sealant on the threads. These are compression fittings with a rubber washer under there, and that seals off. You do not need Teflon tape or pipe dope or anything on there. And that's it. There you go. I have a countertop for this, and I'm going to show you how to install the basin. Okay, so here's our countertop. Got the hole cut, and now we're going to install the basin. So the first thing you want to do, down in underneath, you want to install your valves. Okay, so this is PEX sticking out, so we're going to use a BRPX valve with a PEX end. Okay, if you have copper sticking out, you're going to want to use a CR19. Looks like this, except it goes onto copper and it's a compression fitting. You want to make sure your water is turned off to the cold and the hot. Okay, best to just turn the water off to the whole house. That way, both of these are off. And you want to hold a little container under there in case there's water in there. And best to let the pressure off at a faucet elsewhere in the house if you can. About a ½ an inch behind this ring. You want to cut that. You want to make both of these pipes about the same length. And then you want to put escutcheon plates on. Some crimp rings. And your valves. I like to give the ring a little squeeze with the channel locks. And these can be facing any way because you can twist them afterwards. You want to leave a little bit of pipe showing and then place the ring. There's not quite 1/8 of an inch between the end of the ring and the end of the pipe. Take our crimper, give that a crimp. Same with this one. Now we can twist those up like that. Make sure they're turned off. Now we can turn the water back on to these valves. Then we'll know we have no leaks at the crimp connections. And now we can install the basin. Okay, if you're having your countertop installed, then the countertop installer should cut the hole out for the sink. If you're getting a new sink, the template for that sink should be in the box or part of the actual box it comes in. It would have a dotted line and you would put it on here and then you mark it and cut that out. But like I said, the countertop installer should be cutting out the sink for you. So make sure you have your sink on hand when the countertops get put in. Okay, so there's our sink that we dressed. Now we're gonna go ahead and get this ready to put in.
Let's make sure it fits. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, now what I like to do is flip the whole sink upside down. Just set it like that. I use a DAP Quick Seal adhesive caulking for kitchen and bath, okay? This is really great stuff because it's easy water cleanup, okay? I like to take a little bowl of water and some shop towels and get that shop towel wet, just like that. We want to put a nice bead all the way around this rim near the outside edge, all the way around the whole thing. Doesn't have to be perfect, just a same size bead the whole way around. Okay, once you've done that, then you just want to carefully lift that sink up without touching this and set it down into place. Making sure that the gap at the back is even between here and here and here and here. This is going to get sealed eventually too along the back. Better to do this with bare hands. Just get your fingers a little bit wet and then you just want to rub that along all the way around. All along the back. Okay, now that application is basically to adhese this sink down. So you're fastening it into place. And you can see it's not perfect, there's still gaps, but it is being adhesed down now. Okay, now you want to take the quick seal again and go along and put more on the outside to fill that void. Getting your fingers wet, push that along, filling that void and blending the sink to the countertop. You take your excess, wipe it off there, and you want to do that all the way around, and then take your finger again and go along. Give it a little wipe off after. Now, like I said, this stuff is water cleanup, so if you have any spots that look bad, you just take a little bit more water and wet your finger, and there you go. And then you just want to wipe that down. Keep doing that until you get a nice clean finish. Okay, I'm just going to put some extra behind here. And then when you're satisfied with the way it looks, you can take a dry shop towel, just do a light cleaning. Okay, here we are underneath. You can see this is lined up nicely with the drain. Sometimes this might be over further here and you'll have to use a 45-degree fitting on here to get the P-trap to work. But in this case, we're just gonna may not even need a coupling because we're pretty close here. So the P-trap might just work out. But the first thing you want to do under here is do up your water lines to your valves. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so you just need a crescent wrench, and we don't need this compression nut on here or the ferrule. You can get rid of that. Same on both sides. We just want to take our line. You can see why dressing the sink beforehand makes this a lot easier. Now all I got to do is do this up. Now this is a little long. What you can do is you can spin your valve a little bit if it's a crimp-on valve. It's pretty easy. And then we just want to, you can bend this a little bit. And then we just want to line that up and get that started there. Snug it up and then finish it off with your crescent wrench. Just snug, you don't want to over tighten. There we go. That's not going to move. That's good. And now we'll move to the other side. Now you want to make sure that you are not really reefing on these because depending on when you adhesed your sink in, by pushing on this stuff you can mess up the caulking job that you just did. So you want to keep that in mind when you're doing this if you're doing it right after you put it in. It's been a little bit since I put the sink in, so it's adhesed in there a little better than if it had just been done. But we're going to go ahead and get these done up. Just snug that up. There we go. Okay, now the drain isn't hooked up yet, but we can go ahead and turn this water on. That way while you're working on the drain, these are under pressure, and if they're gonna start leaking, they're gonna start leaking sooner than later. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn these on slowly. There's one, and there's two. Water's on, no sign of water. So now we wanna go ahead and pop this cap off. If it's glued on, you're gonna need to cut this off. Now we want to take our P-trap. This is a union P-trap. Okay, so you're going to need a trap adapter. This is 1.25 inches by 1.5 inches. That just slides up over that. And you can just do that up so it's just holds on. And you just want that metal pipe just coming in to here so you can just feel it there. Okay, you got adjustment here, up and down. See, this piece of pipe here can be different lengths, but I like to do it so that it's about right there. You need to have a union trap that you can undo. Take this, place it right on the pipe, and you take this. Okay, now this isn't lined up out from the wall to the center of this, but this length will be what you need. So now we want to take that measurement from inside this hub to inside this hub. Okay, so that's about 5 1/4 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that piece. Okay, so we got a 5 1/4 inch piece. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect because this is adjustable up and down a little bit. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and take this trap adapter off. Just the bottom part. And the bottom part of the P-trap. So you have this and you have this. And we get our gloves back on now because we're going to glue. If you're worried about the bottom of your vanity, lie down some shop towels underneath where you're gluing because you might get the odd drip from here. Okay, it's a nice coating in around there. Nice coating on the pipe. We'll put that in there. Just hold that for a few seconds and then wipe that off. So we got this glued in. Now we're going to glue the trap adapter onto the end here. Same thing. Nice coating inside the fitting and on the pipe. And get that trap adapter on there. Little spin, hold for a few seconds. There we go. Okay, now our P-trap and trap adapter are ready. Now we can go ahead and take this 90 off of here and put it back on. Okay, so now depending if this is in line with your PO or not, that's where you've got this movement on the P-trap here, okay? So you basically have that much of a swing. The pipe could be coming out here and this would still work because you can swing the trap, okay? So that's where you would maybe have to extend this out with a coupling or a 45. But in this case, we have to take a little bit off of here. I'm gonna line this up directly underneath here. And now I'm gonna look back here and I can see where I need to cut the pipe, okay? So you can either mark that with a pen. I'm just gonna hold my finger there and take this away. Now I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna cut that pipe. Okay, get that 90 back on there. Now we're gonna dry fit this piece. We're gonna slide that up there. And we're gonna make sure that this lines up with this as we slide it up. Yeah, you see that's fitting in there nicely. And we just wanna get these threads started. These threads started. Now we can have a look. Looks good to me. Okay, so once you have dry fit this part here, then you just want to undo. Slide that off. And take this off of here. Torpedo level ready. Nice coating of glue in the 90. Nice coating around the fixture outlet pipe. Put that on there. Twist. Get your level on there. Okay, and there we go, nice and level. You want to make sure that this is level. It's very important that this is level, this threaded piece here. Now we'll take our trap, all ready to go. And now we want to slide that up, get those threads started. Snug that. Same here with the trap adapter, get that done up. Tighten that up by hand. And then back down to this union nut here, and by hand, grabbing the P-trap, use your hand, twist that, get it as tight as you can get it by hand, and that's good. The water's already turned on, no sign of any leaks here. You want to let this glue set up for a while. I like to let it set up for a few hours along with the adhesive on the sink. You can test it right away after you do it, but I like to give it at least 15-20 minutes before you run water through this. So you want to fill your sink, let it go, check all these joints for leaks, and you're good to go. But there you go, drop-in basin, dressed and installed. If you enjoyed the video and it helped you out, please consider subscribing to my channel. It's free, doesn't cost you anything. And then if another video comes along that might interest you, you'll know about it. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.